Okay, so this presentation is entitled A Dominant Standard for Smartphone Operating Systems. So this presentation will discuss the following areas: technological and industrial convergence and the emergence of the smartphone as a converged dominant design device. The presence of operating systems on these smartphones is a key element and differentiating factor, and the fragmentation in the market as companies introduce their own proprietary operating systems. Then it will discuss the top 5 operating systems in this market and their different supporting business models. And then future projections regarding the dominant standard for operating systems on smartphones and on other mobile devices. And it will then go on to conclude. So technological convergence has become a reality of the 21st century. As technology and the convergence of the PC and communications industry has advanced, it has led consumers to demand PC functionality on mobile phones, pushing towards a multifunctional mobile device. Convergence has therefore led to the emergence of the smartphone device. So smartphones have actually emerged as the convergent dominant design. Gartner predicts that smartphone shipments will soon exceed laptop unit shipments, with users spending more on smartphones than on notebooks. Eventually, smartphones will also replace popular feature phones. Smartphones sold approximately 216.3 million units in 2009 and are now expected to sell more than 572.5 million units in 2014. Which is approximately 40% of total mobile handset sales. So as you can see on this graph, which demonstrates the adoption of innovation, smartphones have just passed the early adopters stage and are now moving into the early majority stage, with many users now owning smartphones. And they're expected to grow even further, reaching eventually the saturation stage. So in order to support this PC functionality and an exponential increase in services available on smartphones, this has triggered the need for strong mobile operating systems. This has led to many companies rushing in with their own proprietary operating systems, hoping to dominate the market for smartphones and for mobile operating systems. These operating systems are incompatible, which has intensified the competition. There is now fierce competition as the big boys like Apple, Google, Microsoft, Nokia and Research in Motion are battling to establish their operating systems as the dominant standard for the next generation of smartphones. Convergence is therefore a strong driving force and has resulted in the mobile communications market going from a relatively stable state to a non-stable or punctuated state, in which the market is incredibly fragmented and competitive. The industrial level convergence has resulted in many internet companies and PC and chip manufacturers that had previously been acting in distinct markets to enter into the mobile communications market. This has significantly destabilized the market. So these companies are now positioned alongside the traditional telecommunications companies in mutually competitive constellations. So the application-driven model that Apple's iPhone has introduced means that internet packet-based applications are now an important part of the smartphone market. This has created opportunities for third-party developers to enter the market and create applications for smartphones. Apple's App Store, with over 140,000 applications, has provided a way of differentiating its Mac OS X operating system, and now other companies are looking towards integrating this application-driven model into their own operating systems. So at present there is no dominant standard in mobile operating systems, and the market is incredibly fragmented, with companies regularly introducing new operating systems alongside new smartphones. Mobile operating systems are therefore in the fluid phase of innovation. However, as innovation theory tells us, there are likely to be consolidation mechanisms over time, and a push to standardize this fragmented operating systems market. Consolidation and the emergence of a dominant design will enable more phones to run the same applications, reduce application development time and cost, and streamline management for mobile operators. However, the question is, which operating system will emerge as the dominant standard? As we've seen in the PC market with Windows and Macintosh, will 2 operating systems become dominant standards? So let's take a look at the key operating systems competing in the market. So this series of pie charts demonstrates the number of smartphone sales by operating systems between 2007 and 2009, indicating the key players: Symbian, Research in Motion, iPhone or Mac OS, Windows Mobile and Google's Android. Android's non-existence in 2008 and its 4% presence in 2009 demonstrates the fast rate at which it is growing, whereas operating systems such as Symbian and Windows Mobile are losing momentum. These operating systems are incompatible technologies, and the competition between them for a dominant standard has led to considerable strategic manoeuvring. So let's examine these top 5 players and the different business models which they've adopted. So it was Apple's iPhone, released in 2007, that innovated and truly opened up a brand new market with its proprietary operating system, kick-starting the smartphone and the applications market. The iPhone operating system, on which the iPhone as a device functions, is a proprietary closed end-to-end platform with a heavy focus on applications and services through its innovative App Store. The iPhone is the only device upon which the operating system is run. Apple exercises almost complete control over its operating system, with third-party apps requiring approval prior to reaching the App Store. Nevertheless, it has huge support from the developer community and over 100,000 plus applications. The iPhone has a non-compromising, high-end price point and targets premium users with its outstanding user experience and user interface. The OS has benefited from brand equity and the success of the iPod. In 2009, its approximate market share was 13.7%. Google's Android came to the market late in 2009 and with a completely different business model. It has broader distribution in terms of its presence on a diverse range of devices and price points which are much lower than that of the iPhone. Android is an open source and has an intelligent user interface that handles applications, tasks, and communication well. It has received massive support from hardware companies and handset manufacturers, including Dell, HTC, LG, Motorola, Samsung, and Sony Ericsson, and from upcoming device manufacturers such as Huawei, ZTE, and TTC Alcatel. It will also benefit from its support of Adobe Flash and the strong Google brand. Google CEO, Eric Schmidt, cited that Android is already shipping on 60,000 handsets a day. Android is expected to attract feature phone users wanting to upgrade rather than convert iPhone users. Its approximate market share in 2009 was 2.8%. Microsoft Windows Mobile emerged in 2003 as a proprietary closed-source operating system with a focus on smartphone tasks and communications. Although it has experienced strong demand in the enterprise segment due to its easy integration with the Exchange server and the Microsoft Office suite, its portfolio lacks an app store. It has fewer partnerships with original electronics manufacturers, and its user interface is poor. It established Windows Marketplace for mobile in 2009 for applications, but to date only offers 246 plus apps. Its market share has dropped since 2007, and it is battling to re-establish a foothold, with just 3% of European mobile users owning a Windows-based mobile. Microsoft is hoping that the introduction of Windows Phone 7 later in 2010 will turn this situation around, and indeed it has a lot of potential. Windows Mobile's market share in 2009 was around 9%.